Welcome to the show, where it's our vision to embed a passion for lifelong learning through nurturing aspirations in engaging ways that inspires learners to become self-confident, open-minded, creative thinkers who make a really positive impact in the world they live. Educational author and former teacher Dr. Michael Schmoker shows in his book a study which shows that of 1,500 classrooms visited, 85% of them had less than 50% of their children engaged in the learning process. That means that of all of those 1,500 classrooms studied, only 15% had less than or almost 50% of children engaged. Today I want to share with you a few simple but really effective questioning techniques that will ensure that your children are engaged in the learning process and are actually always immersed, always thinking, always developing new habits and ideas that encourage active participation in the learning all the way through. The first technique that I want to share with you is think, pair, share. The way that this technique works is instead of encouraging children to put their hand up and then one person answers the question, all of the other pupils are silent, perhaps some children are fiddling, perhaps not paying attention. In that scenario, you've only got one person thinking, one person answering the question. But with think, pair, share, what you do is you don't encourage the children to put their hands up, you just get them to think about the answer. So you pose the question, they think about the answer because then they're all immersed in the thinking process, under the knowledge that you will pounce on any of those pupils to answer the question. When you have a system where the children put their hands up, what happens is the children that don't put their hands up, they can switch their brains right off and stop thinking about learning altogether and just wait for the clever kid over there to answer it. With think, pair, share, everyone is immersed in the thinking process. And then you get them to pair, collaborate with somebody or your think partner that you've pre-selected and talk about how you can extend upon your answer. How can you make your answer deeper and more meaningful as a pair? So maybe person A has part of the answer and person B has the answer, part of the answer, and when they collaborate, they have a more deeper and meaningful understanding of the context that you're trying to share. The final piece of the puzzle is to share. Then the teacher will select on various groups or various pairs and say, what did you think? What did you come up with? And the powerful benefit of this technique is it allows children to defend their answer. Because it might be the scenario that this group over here or this pair over here thinks A and this pair over here has a completely different answer. So instead of stepping in as a teacher and going, no, you're wrong, you're right, what you do is you allow them to defend their answer. You allow them to evaluate their own ideas, come up with their own concepts, which allows them to think more deeper about the learning question at hand and evaluate their own responses so that they have better thinking time and better outcomes as a result. The second technique that I'm going to share with you is complete my sentence. Absolutely. So all of the children then are immersed in the learning process. When you want to embed a key word or you want to reinforce a key term or phraseology with the children, it's a really effective technique to A, make sure that they're all paying attention, and B, get them to embed and reinforce that key term so that they just remember it better. You know, children want to shout out, they want to be encouraged, they want to be inspired, and instead of reminding children that, hey, you need to be quiet and raise your hand to speak, actually sometimes it's just a really good gesture and get them to all complete my, and they all shout out sentence. The third and final technique is pose, pause, pounce, bounce. Sounds like a little bit of a tongue twister. I know, it's a really great and effective technique though. So you pose the question and then you pause. You give the children thinking time to think about the answer at hand, which if you just ask a child to answer a question straight away, they may give you a shallow answer. By giving them that thinking time, you allow them to come up with more deeper and meaningful answers that really allow them to extend their thinking. Now, once you've posed that question to a random person, you may be really intricate and clever by posing a low order question to start with, and then as you pounce it on to other pupils or bounce it on to other pupils, you then ask more challenging questions that scaffold the thinking. That means that all of the class now are engaged, they all feel challenged, they all are thinking about, okay, so what could be the answer? And they're all learning from that high order question that you've asked towards the end. I hope you found that useful. Think, pair, share, complete my sentence, and pose, pause, pounce, bounce are really effective questioning techniques to make sure that all the children are engaged. So you don't always need to get children to put their hands up and get one person or two people to answer the question. It's a really inspiring and motivating technique to make sure that all of the learners are engaged and are immersed in the thinking process. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe, and if you know somebody that might benefit from watching it, please be sure to share this video with a friend. If there's something that you would like us to cover in our show, please drop a comment in the comments box below. We'd love to hear from you. Have a fantastic week.